Do you know what's the most successful people have in common? One thing they have in common is they always put the first thing first. In other words, they prioritize their priorities. In the Seven Habits of the Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, he mastermind habit three, put the first thing first. But before we take a deep dive into habit three, I want to revisit habit one, which is being proactive. In other words, it means we are responsible for our choices, we are responsible for our action, and we are responsible for our reaction. And habit two is beginning with the end in mind. It's about having a personal vision. It's about your legacy. It is about what you want to be. And without habit one and habit two, habit three, it'll be very difficult to fulfill. So that means it's putting the first thing first. So habit three is practical. Habit three is where the physical work begin. So what it means to put the first thing first. Stephen R. Covey, you know, explained this in his time management metrics, which he divided our activities into four quadrants. You have quadrant one, that is urgent and important. This is where the emergencies happen, and this is where all of the crises happen, and this is where all of the problems we need to solve now, happen. It's not a pleasant quadrant to be because it leads to stress. It leads to suffering and leads to so many confusion. So it is not the best quadrant to be. The quadrant two is not urgent but important. So this is where all of the planning happens. This is where you work out now so that tomorrow you can have a healthy body. This is where you plan now, you study so that tomorrow you can reap the benefits. And this is where you plan for your future so that tomorrow things turn out the way you want it to be. It is called the preventive quadrants, and this is the most important quadrants, and this is where you want to spend the most of your time. Then quadrant three is urgent but not important. So this is where the conflict of interest happens. This is where people bring their agendas to you. This is where people bring interest to you, their interest to you. So at the end of the day, it is urgent for them, but not not important to you. And Stephen R. Covey stressed that this is a quarter where you will need to learn to say no, and where you will need to learn to say yes to the bigger thing that's aligned towards what you want. Then quadrant four is not important, not urgent. This is where we waste our time. For example, social media, TikTok, Facebook, where we mindlessly scrolling. We have no idea what we're looking for. So Stephen R. Covey stressed us to avoid these quadrants, at all costs, because it is a time waster. It is not helping in the present, and it's not going to help in the future. So that's sum up habit three, put on the first thing first. So at the end of the day, as all of the Jambarr out there who want to do well in life, the best quadrant to be is quadrant two. Not urgent but important. These are the things you work on now so that tomorrow you can reap that benefit. And he also stressed for us to invest most of our time in that quadrant and avoid quadrant one. That's where everything is emergency, everything is crisis. So at the end of the day, that quadrant will lead to stress and confusion. So we need to avoid, that quadrant as much as we can and focus on quadrant two. Then quadrant three is compromise. Sometimes you figure out whether this is in the best in your interest to pursue or whether it was your time. And quadrant four is a no go area. That's that's the quadrant you need to completely get rid of. So my Jambarr out there, if you can see all of these habits are linked, the first one is to be proactive. That means you are responsible for your action, your choices, and how you react to any situation. And habit two is beginning with the end in mind. This is where you have the plan, the future you want and how you want your life to look like. Then habit three is the practical. This is where the all of the work begin. So let me know if you are interested in learning more about the saving habit of the highly effective people by Stephen Covey. And let me know which quadrants you are in right now. Are you in quadrant one, two, three, and avoid four? Thank you.